So Ben Affleck, Batfleck, and Matt Damon
Not anymore.
are was Ben and Matt are great friends. Let's name some of our other favorite Hollywood friendships.
Who's got the best?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Here's mine, and I'm gonna say Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake, and here's why it's superior to Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. When do we ever, like, how do we know that Ben and Matt are great friends? We don't, like, there is nothing that we see them do or anything. Like, what have we seen them in like a Red Sox game one time? You know, like we don't see them doing anything. We just hear that they're great friends. Fallon and Timberlake, we see them doing things all the time. Whatever your thoughts are on Jimmy Fallon, or, you know, who cares how you feel about those two guys? They're great friends, and it's obvious to everyone. You know, they're always doing stuff. They're always hanging out.
Here's why I don't like
They look
Jimmy
like they're having a
Fallon
blast.
and Justin Timberlake. Because Jimmy Fallon is America's prom king. Or sorry, Justin Timberlake was
Wrong.
America's prom king. And
Yes.
Jimmy Fallon is his laughing, foolish best friend in high school.
Yeah.
And I was the nerdy arts kid in high school, and I didn't like those two. They're both just strutting around like golden kings. And we give them all this money, and they don't do anything for their field, their art. I really do think that they coast on their likability, and they just gross me out. I don't like it.
Yeah,
You don't think Justin Timberlake's a good artist anymore?
No, I do not. Not anymore. There was a season where I loved Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake. Like, they were on SNL together. They were making fun of the Bee Gees, and I just thought they were the greatest thing in the world. And Jimmy Fallon, it's really individually. Jimmy Fallon has gone on to really represent for me what's wrong with late night TV. And Justin Timberlake, I think, is coasting. I am excited for Trolls 2. But that's just because I like the McElroy brothers. It's not for Justin Timberlake, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't want to judge, you know, people's friendships based on their accomplishments.
Right.
However,
But I will.
But I will. Yes.
But
I
here
mean,
I
our
go.
friendship, we make this podcast, so, you know, take that as you will. But here's my thing. What's the great thing that their friendship has brought us? Like, what's the great thing?
Why
I
do
think,
we
like, their
need
biggest
something
thing-
from their friendship?
It's like the history of rap videos and stuff, where the Roots are standing 8 feet to the left and don't get to participate, and
Right.
two
Which
white
she
guys
also-
are like doing the history of rap. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But hold on. Why do we need something from their friendship?
Well, because I feel like good friendships produce
Well, what do we
I don't know
enjoy?
what-
We're talking about celebrity friendships. It's not
Right,
like
right.
what do friendships need to produce. It's like what
Celebrity friendships-
Well, I
do
feel like we can only
enjoy
judge their
consuming
friendship
from
on that
afar?
merit.
Celebrity like that. It's just that, though. It's their friendship. It's their friendship. We're not a part of it?
But that now we're getting into like the nature of celebrity. It's like, what sort of parasocial relationship do we like to munch on in our free time? And Jimmy and Justin are not the meal I want to munch on.
Right.
I think that's fine. Whatever. I am. We're not on the same page here at all. Not one bit. Not one
No.
bit.
I knew we'd find conflict in this episode, and it's in the bonus episode.
It was just gonna come way later. Mitchell, who's your picks? I want to
rip into him now.
I want to
You-
get in there.
You done my buds dirty. Well, it's two women beyond reproach, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Oh,
I love them
daggone it.
so
Me too.
much.
Me too.
So
They
do
were the first
I.
Two women to anchor Weekend Update on SNL. You got Mean
They're
Girls, Baby
fantastic.
Mama, Hillary Clinton and Sarah Palin, the Emmys, the Golden Globes. Everything they do together is gold, maybe with the exception of that movie Sisters. I
didn't think it was
love-
awful.
It was fine. It's fine. I just love it when they get together.
Yeah.
I think the best part about the Golden Globes in the past however many years has been their opening monologues.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't watch the Golden Globes, but if they're hosting, I will watch their monologue and then shut it off.
The best part of the Oscars. The best part of the Oscars.
Fantastic.
Was the
best
two
part of the
them and
Oscars
Maya
last year is
Rudolph.
when they.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we could have hosted this.
I wish you did, because I love you, and I just want you to do more things together. They say that they won't do more things together because they're both alphas, and that makes sense to me.
Sure.
Like, they both need to be in charge of their own thing. But I genuinely love when they're together. They just seem to build each other up and support each other. I'll sometimes watch like old Upright Citizen Brigade videos when they're like doing improv together, and I just love it. I think they're two of the funniest women on earth. They might be the two funniest women on earth. And they have a great friendship. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always felt though like Amy Poehler is the sidekick. Is that just me?
It's not how I see it, but maybe
I
other
think
people feel that way
Tina's
too.
I think Tina's the better straight.
Tina's like the juggernaut though in the comedy world, right? She was like the big.
It depends. They both have huge accomplishments, but in different arenas. Like Tina Fey wrote 30 Rock, which is by writers considered to be one of the strongest comedy shows of all time.
Absolutely.
But Amy Poehler has had a huge cultural influence with Parks and Rec. Like that's also beloved as one of the best sitcoms of all time.
Wait, it's also two different like blends of comedy. Like Parks and Rec is a little wacky and silly, whereas 30 Rock is also silly, but Tina Fey is more like not deadpan per se, but her stuff is more, dry, I think.
Yeah, 30
I really
Rock
feel
is
like
a
though
writer's show. There's more jokes. Like I've watched that show like once a year, like every year for the past like 6 years, and there's more jokes in that show per like minute than I think most shows that have ever been written. It's incredible.
I guess I just always felt like when they're doing their monologues or when they're dialoguing that, okay, they're up there telling Tina Fey's jokes. That just always is how it comes across to me. Like Tina Fey wrote this whole thing. They're both doing it.
Well, I definitely think that Tina has the writing background. She was like head writer at SNL for a bit, I think, and Amy's a performer. That's what she does. So Right. All right, Zach.
Zach.
My answer is Seth Rogen and literally anyone in Hollywood. Like, I'm just going to name off some people. James Franco, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jonah Hill, Jay Baruchel, Danny McBride, Michael Cera. These are all people who he works with, and everybody who works with him loves him. They talk about how they want to work with him more, how they want to do more things with him. And in every movie, even in a bad movie like The Green Hornet, he has solid chemistry with every other actor. But I understand that we're talking about one specific friendship. So I will concede and I'll say Seth Rogen and James Franco, because to me, that's a very beautiful friendship. You have two guys who start their careers at the same time on a TV show that is beloved, but it doesn't work. People don't watch it. People don't tune in, but the people who do watch it love it. Then they go their separate ways. One does comedy, one does serious. Then they come back together. And you could just tell when these guys are working together, they just love it so much that these guys are just having the time of their lives together. And they've given us some really solid comedies. Like, people still talk about Pineapple Express. People talk about the two of them.
Some people still talk about a very specific crowd.
More people than talk about heavyweights.
Everyone who I talk to, though, when you mention Seth Rogen, the first film most of them bring up is Pineapple Express. Like, that's one of the defining films of his career, and that's one that was very early out of the gate. And I think the reason, like, I don't think the movie's super funny, but I think that the two of them together are so good that I want more. The Interview is not a good movie, but I want to see the two of them together. Like, every time they get together, I feel like I'm going to get something that's delightful and exciting. And it's fun to see, like you were saying, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are, both alphas. I think Franco and Rogan are polar opposites, and I love to see those opposites attract.
Yeah, I would agree with
my
that.
only issue here,
really
Zach.
Go ahead.
I think my only issue is like you're right. You could have gone anywhere. You could have gone with Jonah, with Jay, but you went, and this is probably going to make you sad. You went with Frisky Franco, who is like a Hollywood pariah right now.
I know.
I know that's sad. I'm going to say something politically incorrect. So, Zach,
we're gonna upload this, so you better be careful.
I know. I don't want to open my mouth. And he was involved somehow in the Me Too.
Right.
Oh, he
was one of the people. Yes, he's a bad. Yes,
he's an evil man.
There's implications, and he's gone to extents to prove his innocence. But I don't want to, I don't want to play into that. But I feel like that, is where my argument holds less water, which is why I said Seth Rogen and not really anyone else.
Well, listen, you sounded so much like Seth Rogen.
Yeah, you really did. I loved how you busted out the Rogan laugh.
I think his spirit just like leapt down into your belly. No, but just because someone is an evil person doesn't mean they're not entitled to friendship. I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't like say he doesn't have a good friendship with Seth Rogen. It just means he's human garbage, and we should condemn.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I went with Seth Rogen and anyone else is there. Do you guys remember when Don John came out?
Oh boy, do I! Woof.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I liked the most was Seth Rogen like wrote something on Twitter, and he was like, I just saw Don John. He was like, movie's super funny. Everybody should go see it. And like Joseph Gordon-Levitt just responded. He goes, "Thanks, buddy. I loved hearing your laugh in the theater." And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice."
I think Seth Rogen just seems like the chillest dude. Like, if you could pick someone in Hollywood to hang out with for a day, Seth Rogen would be a pretty good choice.
Right. Actually, you know what? I'll change my answer. This is the boring answer. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, because they've been writing together since they were 13, and they're still going.
Yeah, but Evan Goldberg's not a celebrity, so I don't care about him.
Right. You're right.
He doesn't have value to society, or I'm kidding. I'm being facetious.
No, but I know what I think
the Franco answer is a good answer. Like that.
Yeah, I do
of
too.
the people, like that's his best. That's clearly one of his better friends. Like, I love a movie like This Is the End
because they all get to hang out.
This is like, they're not acting. This is how a party with these dudes, this is what it looks like, and
or
Jonah Hill shows up
the world
and
to view their parties.
Right. They're probably not that cool. No, they're probably exactly that cool. But anyway, I think that's one of the things that I really like about that movie particularly. And, just a big group of friends that do movies sometimes and they hang out a lot.
I want to throw Jonah Hill into that mix. He's not brought up in that company enough. And This Is the End. He's easily my favorite part. He's so funny.
Well, and
it's
unfortunately,
America's sweetheart, Jonah Hill.
Well, unfortunately, the thing with Jonah Hill though is once he found fame with Scorsese, he kind of publicly cut ties with those guys pretty quickly. Like, there's a pretty infamous, for people who are fans of theirs, interview where Jonah Hill was like upset because they were doing an interview during This Is the End, and someone was like, "So who farts the most on set?" And Jonah Hill's like, "I'm a serious actor. I'm doing a Martin Scorsese film. Like, stop." And like even Seth Rogen has
those
said,
guys laughed at it though. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
Tell me the end.
Well, no, like Seth Rogen has said they were doing a thing, like it was you either had to answer a question or they had to like eat something crazy, and they were like, "Okay, of these people, who's the hardest to work with? James Franco, Jonah Hill," and Seth Rogen just goes, "Jonah Hill."
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh man,
I can see like the conundrum there though. Do you want to stay a part of the friend group, or
go on to bigger and better things?
Do you want? Yeah, like I can see how that would be a tough one.
Yeah.
Like,
it depends what you want to do. Like, like you can talk about bigger and better. Like, you can also say, Seth Rogen got to make Preacher, which he'd been trying to do for years. And he was also in Steve Jobs, which is penned by Aaron Sorkin. So, success looks different for everybody else. I don't think you need to,
put it in those terms. Yeah, I agree with that. I bet you, though, I mean, so much goes... We have to read so much into these interviews and snippets of these people's lives. I mean, he could have been tired. He could have been frustrated. How many times do you think those guys get questions like that? Who do you like? How many times do you think Seth Rogen has been asked about who he smoked weed with at this point? Right? Like, it just must be exhausting, especially when you maybe want to change the way you're viewed and you're trying to do something more serious, and the way you're viewed is going to determine what kind of roles you get in the future. I bet you it's tiring for someone like Jonah. So I feel some sympathy for that. He may have been being a jerk. I don't know. I mean, but I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt.